Let's see how this thing goes. First time trying live. Not really sure how it's gonna go. If anyone's really into it right now. Just working on putting my reloader back together. It's been a while. We got someone joining. All right, that's back. Okay. Hey, thanks, Robert. Thanks for coming by, dude. How's the audio? Is it working with this mic, or can you hear me at all? Oh, I'm making 45s. But you can hear me all right on the mic. Look at that. Just putting all the stuff back together right now. Just because I've had it like, I had the thing set up to do small primer 45s, and then by doing small primer pistols, you also get to do 223 because they use the same primer. They use the same size small primer, so I had it set up to do small primer, but now I ran out of small primer pistol, so I'm switching back over to doing the large primer 45s, which more than often the majority of the manufactured 45s that you're going to see, they all run pretty much large primer. Like I got this used like Federal that's using a large primer. This is like a spent PMC 45. PMC is what is that? Korean. That's a large primer. Winchester. Hey, how's it going? This Winchester is a large primer as well. So yeah, so majority of the manufacturers that you see around that you're gonna buy in store, most of those 45s are gonna be large primer. So anyways, I like when it comes to small primer stuff, it's so far the only ones that I've seen that are small primer are typically like that Blazer Brass. I don't know if you're familiar with that brand. I'm sure you've seen it around, like at Bass Pro, they got Blazer Brass over there, right? So what's next? Primers. So these are the large pistol primers. Let's go like that. And then we just dump them out. It's pretty cool. They got it like dialed in. There's like this little tray that you dump the primers onto if you don't drop them. You got these primers on this little tray, and then you put the lid over the tray and you shake it up, and it flips all the primers over to the correct side. It should shake them over to the right size. There you go. So it flips them all this way. You can see that. And you take those, and then you take your little pickup stick, and you pick them up this way, which is the incorrect size. That's not the correct size. Where's the correct size? Should be this one. So you just pick up all your primers this way. You're picking them up upside down. Which for some reason they're jamming. Hey, Peter. You put them up. Which this should work. I haven't done it in a while. But this is going to drop the primers in there. We'll see. If anything, I probably have to get that dialed back in too, and then I'll have to do, I'll have to load the primers in one by one until I get it working, but let's see. The primer should be dropping soon. Where are they? There you go. And they're loading upside down. So it's not what I really wanted there. Okay, so I guess I'll just do it upside down. I mean, I'll do them one by one right now just because I can't get the thing to work. The pickup tube's all messed up. It's like it's not picking up the primers correctly. So you can do it one by one, but here, let me give you a demonstration of how this thing goes. So you put your spent brass up in this tube, drop it in. When you crank the handle, it's gonna drop down from here. And then it's gonna pick it up right on this black part. And then you push forward to seat the casing into the little shell plate. And then on the first stage, once you crank this up, it's gonna pop the old primer out. So the old primer came out and I forgot to put the little catch. The little catch can to catch the old primer, so that fell. And then it's gonna go to the second stage. The second stage is where when you push forward, it's also pushing the new primer in. So check that out. So I pushed out the old spent primer. So now I'm gonna put this new primer. Let's see if I can get it there. This new primer in. So do that. So watch, I'll show you guys. So putting them back in, and then with the push forward of the lever, it pushes the new primer into this spent casing. So now, with that push forward, when I pull up, when I pull back, the whole machine is going to go up and then push the casing into the bullet powder feeder, the bullet powder measure. I'm sorry, the gunpowder measure. And so now that drops a certain amount of weight of powder into there, which you're not going to be able to see. Oh, you can, see? That's like the weighted powder, which it's measured in grains. So I'm using 4.5 grains for this load because that's like a conservative load for 45s. The third stage is empty. It's just more of like a station you can peek through. And then on the fourth stage is where you can load your projectile, which is that 45. This is your traditional 230 grain full metal jacket projectile 45. You can do, this is where you can change it up and do like a different grain of hollow point, or you could do like polymer coated instead of full metal jacket, which is pretty common for like competitive shooting because it's cheaper to run those polymer projectiles. They're cheaper to buy. Or you can do wads, which they're kind of like, they're a weird shape, like a, I don't know how to describe it, but they have a weird shape to the wads have a weird shape to them. So now that pushes the bullet in, another crank, and then this sets the crimp on the casing. And that's the 45 ready to go, ready to fire. And then what you can do, you get a case gauge. And so this is to simulate a chamber of like a semi-automatic round. A semi-automatic handgun. And you can just drop your finished round in to make sure it fits. Make sure that it's sitting flush, make sure it's not fully extending out through the bottom. And then you're also seeing how easy it is to come out of that gauge. So it easily drops in and easily comes out. So that means the crimp around the bullet is proper and there's no issues around with the casing. And then your final check is to grab a set of calipers. Set of digital calipers here. And you're going to measure the overall length of the whole entire cartridge. So I'm at 1.20, which the measurements that let me double check. The measurement that was in the handbook was saying overall length of 1.200. So I'm at 1.20. Oops. What did I say? 1.203, which, yeah, 1.202. I'm keeping it. It'll be okay. What's going to happen is that this, if anything, the extra powder that doesn't burn off because the thing is, because of the crimp is a little, the crimp is a little shallow. That what can happen is like excess powder spills out of the casing before it fully ignites, and then it ignites on the outside of the casing, and then you'll get like a burnt, like singed casing coming out of your handgun. It's not too bad, especially on a low powder charge like this, 4.5. It's not anything crazy. So, anyways, so yeah, Robert, what you been up to, man? If you're still here, you still in here? Let me load up a couple of cases here. Hey guys, if any of you are new to the channel, I typically just do like off-road 4x4 Toyota focused videos, like long form videos. I don't really do shorts or anything on YouTube, but yeah, I typically do like Toyota 4x4 centric stuff, like installing different things on your Land Cruiser specifically, I should say. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. But I got a little bored today, so I wanted to try going live. Okay, I went out of order. So I wanted to try going live and see how it went. But I'm gonna make some of these rounds while we're here. If any of you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask. Like, I'm just hanging out, bringing you guys along for the ride, so. That's good. So now we're gonna grab powder. The other primer gets shot out because the next round comes in. This one can grab primer. I'm having issues with seating the primer right now. I'm having issues seating the primer down the primer tube. I think it's because my pickup is not working. So let me try that again. Let's try seating the primer again. Let's hit the range. Yeah, you know, like, I mean, you're off every what? Sunday, Monday, right? I'd be down to go on a Monday for sure. I like going to the range when it's like there's no one there. Oh, okay, that's what it was. I forgot. I forgot to turn the primers upside down. The plate for the primers upside down when I loaded them. So what I'm doing is like, so now I have the primers that are ready. Push down with your pickup tube. And they all have to be seated they all have to be standing this way, like this is technically face down. So the primers need to be face down. You have this pickup tube. You invert your pickup tube, make sure that your locking pin is up top. Invert the pickup tube, and they all they all drive down to the bottom. And now you have this. Now you got this primer tube here. You take your little lock, which I pushed it too far in. Line them up, and you just let them drop. So now the primers are ready to be set. And double check. I'm going to take this other round out. Yeah, Robert, this week I'm going to be I'm heading back to work this week, so I'll be a little busy. But I'll be off, like, after Monday, I'll be off for another, like, 5 days, I think. So we can, sometime around then, I'm down to go. Okay, before I continue any further with that one, now that I got the primers all worked out, let me remove these cases that were ready to be loaded. And then I'm gonna work the reloader a little bit until I can get the primers to start feeding into the machine here. Okay, they're coming. I can do one more. And then now I can start seating these ones. So just looking at this casing right here, this one's kind of messed up. You see how it's like oblong? I can technically reload that and I should be able to resize it, but I mean, there's no point. You're just adding extra stress to the reloader. So now I'm just gonna add these rounds in by hand. There you go. And now drop that into the feeder. I'm going to go slow here. I'm going slow here because, again, I haven't worked this machine in a while. So I'm getting everything dialed back in. There you go. So now the primers are primed. They're in the seating position. And then at the same time, the cases are where they need to be. So this one already had the spent primer pushed out. So now that everything's lined up, like you got primers in ready to go. You got the cases ready to be fed down. So now technically it should run as smooth as this. Let me show you. All right, so now it's just a push and pull motion. Push, so that's seating the primer and seating the new case onto the plate. I push the old primer out of the other cartridge over there, as well as dropped powder into this one on the second stage. And now again, push forward, priming the second stage, seating the first stage, and then on the third stage, there's nothing. Push down, old primer comes out, more powder drops into that second one. Add a projectile onto the fourth stage. Make sure that's seating correct, the projectile. Push forward, pull back, push forward. Hit a jam. Hitting somewhere. Oh, that's why. This fell off. This is to return. There you go. That came off. That's to return the powder bar. See, so okay, we had a malfunction here. The powder bar did not return to, and that's my fault. So these two right here, this one has to be refed into the measure, the powder measure. And so does this one. But this one is ready to go. Drops right into the case gauge. That one has powder. This one has primer. That one's been seated. Should be just as smooth as this, like that. There you go. There you go. So we just made 5 45s just like that. Yeah, PJ. What's up, Phil? Rob, I've been telling you, I want to hit the range, man. Like, you gotta do some more training. But I'm just demonstrating everyone here how the reloader works, because I have no other, I don't have any off-road Toyota topics to talk about right now. But anyway, so these are the ones we just loaded. That drops in. And again, this is called a case gauge. So we know those all fit. They're not protruding out of the bottom. So the lengths are correct. They all come out easily. They're all ready to go. And if I wanted to, I know these should be completely dialed in. But if I really wanted to, I can grab my calipers and just measure the length again. And again, it's 1.203. So what? 1.204. I mean, you're talking 0.00 of a difference. 1.202. Yeah, the tolerance is a little off, but it could be because I'm pushing a little harder on one while I'm going a little soft on the other. 1.205. 1.203. 1.202. So, I mean, they're off a little bit. I'm not a professional, but what's up, Frank? You ready to do your video, Frank? Oh, these ones. So these ones need to do. These ones still need powder because the whole powder return wasn't working on these. So they're already primed. Drop powder in it. Oh, this one, drop powder in that one. This one just needs a round put in. If it can. Oh, forgot to put the lock back on. See, I haven't done this in a while, so I'm like all over the place. And then while that one is getting powder, that one's getting a bullet, this one's gonna get powder. Make sure it's seated. Okay. And then one more. Bullet gets seated. And then that bullet was crimped, and that's finished. That one's finished. That one's finished, and there you go. So we just made 4 more. Frank, how was hammers, man? Robert showed me some of the videos you guys had. Some of the videos from when you guys were there. Your guys' campsite looked so dope. I just love seeing it was just a campsite full of Land Cruisers. Full of 80 series. That was so dope. I wanted to join, bro. I really did. But I totally forgot about the date for hammers. I never really paid attention to it because I was like, oh, it's not really, I never figured it was my scene, you know, because I was like never really a rock crawler or like racing in the dunes. But now everyone's going. I'm like, dude, I want to go. So yeah, I mean, that maybe next year. But the ticket sales are probably, all right, let's make some more. Ticket sales are probably going on right now, huh? For next year? shake up these primers so they all flip correct way. Yeah, no, for real. Let's plan it for next year. Yeah, and then let me get some like boxing training in too, because it seems like nowadays if you're going to King of the Hammers, like you gotta get ready to fight, dude. Because like I've been seeing all the videos online of like people, they're like going at it over at Chocolate Thunder. I'm like, dude, really? And then there was like a chick in the middle of it. They're throwing fireworks at each other. I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be family friendly. They go on sale in September. $50 if you're that early. It's $50. Yeah, like the last minute tickets I was looking at was like 200 something. I'm dropping more primers into the system. If I can get the pin, I can't grab it. There you go. So that was 20 primers going to the system. Of course, Frank's already priming for next year, or planning for next year. Or in the evening. Oh, the evening fun. Yeah, I want to try to do a weekend, like however long you guys are there. Yoda Tech, King of Hammers, Land Cruiser Outpost. That sounds, get that going, dude. Get that right there going. The Yoda Tech Land Cruiser Outpost. Like make it a thing, you know? Like where all the Land Cruisers can like get yours at, oh yeah, well yeah, of course you get yours at a discount. But no, Frank, if you were to make like a Land Cruiser Outpost out there, just drop coordinates and everyone can like congregate over there. That sounds like, ooh, that sounds cool. Our primers, let's get the primers loaded up. Nope. Okay. Can't get this one to seat. There you go, buddy. Come on. Thursday to Sunday. Yeah, get there early so that way like you guys can actually get your spot and you're not dealing with like the traffic coming into the event, right? Because honestly, I already have a hard time with people in general. You know, like especially strangers. Don't get me wrong, I like meeting new people, but like if I'm not there to meet you, I have a hard time. So it's like, especially when I'm sitting in traffic or like when I'm waiting in line anywhere, I get all like I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. But if we can beat the crowd, if we can beat the line, I'm all for it. We still got powder, yeah. And the primer there is ready to go. All right. Watch me get these next ones like super smooth right here. Give you like a flawless run. Oh, I spoke too soon. I ran out of cases. That's because I'm not paying attention to how many cases I'm dropping in. I should be dropping, like if I drop a full rack of primers, which I think a full rack in here is like 100, I need to fill this tube up as well. 50 to 100 for King Hammers. Yeah, Yoda Tech, Cruiser Outpost, and then make like a banner, a sick ass flag, like just in the middle of the desert, just start throwing it out there, like the Land Cruiser Outpost, brought to you by Yoda Tech. That would be sick, honestly. You got your own, like you'll have your own event out there, like you're one of the big vendors, you know. You got to do it yourself sometimes. Oh, I got the GX back from the shop today. I got the GX back from Lamb's Garage. They took care of the. Oh, look, this one doesn't fit. Oh, it's a small primer casing, and I was about to shove a large primer in there. That primer would have popped if I forced it hard enough. But usually you can feel it. Like there's a feeling that you get familiar with this. So as soon as you start to push forward and you feel a little bit of tension on that primer, you'll know right away, like, oh, that didn't feel good. So yeah, what I was saying, I got the GX back from the shop. They did the timing chain cover. They changed the water pump. They changed out the look at these primers that weren't used because of the cases. Water pump, serpentine belt, oil pan, the lower and upper oil pan, the transmission oil gasket. That was done too. Oh, and they changed the little O-rings on the oil filter housing thing, whatever you call it, where the cartridge goes. Yeah, resealed the whole vehicle essentially. Just because, I mean, they already had everything right there, right? And like, well, I don't want to have to. I was already leaking from the lower oil pan. There was already a leak there. There was already a small leak coming from the transmission pan gasket. So I figured, yeah, like, just knock it out already, you know? And I mean, obviously, Lambs, they didn't charge me all that. They didn't charge me like in a crazy amount. Like, obviously, it was a reasonable amount, but they take care of the Toyota owners, man. They take care of everybody over there. And they finished it in like 3 days, honestly. What dragged for them was the rain. Just because they kind of, the way their shop is designed, like a little of it kind of sticks out. A couple of the cars have to stick out, so yeah, the rain is what slowed them down. But I'm super stoked, man. And I was hoping, I had asked them, like, hey, can you throw the snorkel on the GX while you're at it? Because, yeah, I'm going to have them install the snorkel. Because I want it. Because I freaking want it, all right? You're not an overlander without it. And, they couldn't do it either because of the rain. So I was just like, oh, all right. Not a big deal. The real priority, honestly, was the oh, look at that. We're running out of powder too, so powder. Where's the powder? Powder we're using is Tight Group. What am I drinking? Whatever whiskey. It's like bottom shelf whiskey that the neighbor gave me. That it actually is pretty damn good. It's a rye whiskey. Benjamin Chapman. It's a 7-year from Indio, California. What? Imported and bottled in Indio, California, but it's a product of Canada. It's weird. So yeah, we need a little more powder. I don't fill up the powder measure all the way, just because I don't want to have a bunch of unused powder sitting there for too long. So I just use however much I go through it in one sitting, and then like if I need more, then just top off, you know. But yeah, I'm having a little bit of whiskey with my coffee, Robert. Can't go wrong with that. I'm drinking coffee right now because I'm working tomorrow night. So I'm getting my sleep schedule, my work schedule back on. So I'm going to stay up all night, sleep all day tomorrow, so that way I can go to work. Let's see, let's run this. Oh look, see, I'm already out of primers. What? Luckily. Got that one. Oh, it's because the other primers, the ones I just dropped through, haven't been fed through the machine yet. So what I'm doing is taking them out, grabbing these little loose primers that, there's a little catch here that shoots out the unused primers. And then put that back. And then that should, so like, yeah, that one's not going to get one. And I'll just come back to it when the primer starts to get fed in. That one as well. See, just throw them back in. Same as this one. No, you can't go wrong with that. What? How come the new primers haven't been fed through yet? There we go. Yep. The new primer went in on that one. So Frank, what's next, dude? Like, what do you have in the pipeline next? You have your next event lined up already? What's the next show? The Expo. What is it? Overland Expo West or Overland Expo California, Southern California? How come that one doesn't have one? Those ones have powder? Is that powder? Yeah, look how many we made in the time that we've been hanging out here. Overland Expo SoCal. Yeah, exactly. I'm stepping on a primer. I'm stepping on 2 primers. Ugh. 3? Oh, these are old ones. These are spent though. Just go in the trash. Yeah, Overland Expo SoCal. Was that March 16th to the 17th or something like that? 15th to the 16th? I do want to make it out to that one. Which I have no doubt I will. Especially because it's Expo and it's gonna be in SoCal. So there's like no excuse now, you know? It's like, oh, it's over in Arizona. It's like, oh well, I can't commit, you know? But now it's like, oh, it's gonna be over in Orange County. It's like, bro, you better go. Let's see. This casing right here is all banged up, but there is a good primer in there. So let's there you go. Throw out this casing, which is all banged up. And we gotta fish that good primer out of the spent primer bin. You can tell which is the good primer, which is a bad primer, because obviously the bad primers or the spent primers have been struck already. It's a dead giveaway. You know, you're not going to miss it. And here, I found it. '15th to the 16th. Oh, it's okay. 15th to the 16th. You're going March 16th? Okay, well, if you're going 16th, I'm going 16th too, dude. Are you going to stay out there? Like, are you going to get a hotel nearby? Or are you going to, like, you're just going to drive up that day? Because I want to, I mean, if it's going to be there for 2 days, I want to try to go for both days. What's up, Eric? Thanks for coming by, dude. We're just talking about who's going to Expo. Overland Expo SoCal. Yeah, I don't know if if I'm gonna get a hotel nearby, or I'm pretty sure they're all booked up right now. By now. Or like, you know, just try to stay local so that way, when I say local, what? We're only driving, I think for us, Robert, we're driving, what, 45 minutes? An hour? OC Fairgrounds? So it wouldn't be too bad, but I wouldn't mind like getting a hotel nearby so that way afterwards, like after the event and stuff, if anyone wants to like hang out somewhere, like it's not too crazy of us, like we're not staying up late or anything, pulling a mission. Yeah, it's about 50 miles. Granted, 50 miles going west towards OC, you're talking like, it's always traffic. Like we have to take the 91. It's gonna be traffic. Yeah, party, right? As long as where's Frank? And I know Frank's gonna agree with me on this one. As long as the party ends by like 9 p.m., we're good. My bedtime is like super early now. Okay, if the party ends by 10 p.m., we're good. That's what we were saying about the Land Cruiser meets over in Cerritos, the Cerrito meets. That's like they start at what, like at 9 p.m. They start at 8 p.m. I think, and then by the time we get there, we've been driving an hour. And then the thing ends at like, everyone starts to leave at like 11 or 12 or midnight. And then by the time we get back to our area, it's like 1 or 2 a.m. And you were over there for like a freaking meet. Which, don't get me wrong, it's fun. I mean, I love going to meets. I still do. I want to try to do another meet out here, out in the IE. Get another one of those meets going. Because last time, Robert, when I kind of put that meet together over by that boba place over here in Rancho, like, I think we had like nine trucks show up. Where in the Land Cruiser world, when you have like, in the 80 series world specifically, you have like 9 Land Cruisers show up, you're like, it's a good turnout, right? So yeah, I'd be down to get meets going up in this area again. So we don't have to drive all the way out to the Cerritos one. But I mean, the Cerritos meets are like pretty popular nowadays. Like everyone, like I know Chris from AV Overland, he'll stop by every so often, and he's driving from Lancaster. So that's like, I don't know specifically Lancaster, but I know he's driving up from Antelope Valley. Like, it's a mission for him to show up, that's for sure. For a Friday, or is it Saturday or Friday? For a Friday night meet, you know what I mean? I've only gone twice. The first time I had gone, you know, I rolled up with my brother, and then he had to leave like right when we got there, so he had an emergency happen. But I ended up staying there and just like talking to a couple guys. I ended up staying till like 10 p.m. or whatnot. And then the second time I went, like again, it was with my brother and his 100. You know, we stayed there till like 11 11:30, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna be so tired for this drive back. Especially like, well, for me being in the FJ80, right, the 3FE, the thing drags on the freeway. It does. And I'm on 295, so like I'm on a glorified 33 if anything. And even then I feel like the power getting sucked out, like especially going uphill, like coming back home, driving up the 15, I feel that power drain on the uphill. So a re-gear is going to have to come into play sometime. But what I'm saying is that like an hour drive in a truck that like you're barely making it uphill, you feel like it's barely making it uphill, it makes the drive that much longer. You get what I'm saying? Like when you're in a vehicle that can just blaze you home, you know what I mean? Like we're going home, we're just going to take off and just just zoom, you're good. But yeah, in my slow ass Land Cruiser, it's like, okay, we're going home. Wish me luck. If you get a phone call in like 30 minutes, it's because I broke down. You know what I mean? So, oh yeah, so in that one sitting alone, sitting there, what is this, 50? It's 10 by 5, there's 50 rounds. So we just made 50 rounds of 45, 230 grain, full metal jacket. These are what you call, this is what you call range ammo. So just in that time, we were sitting there. Sitting there chatting away. Yeah, let me get some more primers loaded into this thing. I want to get, oh, this is for a 9mm. I want to get in the groove of making ammo again, like, and just sitting there and being able to knock them out without like having to like sit there, calibrate, sit there, wait out, or make a mistake. I just haven't done it in a while. Like I said, that I'm not in this like flow, but I'll get there. Let's take some practice again. Anyways, okay, so what else is new? What else is new? Ooh, I have a new awning coming in. That was going to be a surprise, but since you guys are here joining me on the live, I have a new awning coming in from Top Oak Overland. It's a 270 degree. It's massive too. It's one of those 270 degrees that kind of like sweeps forward and then comes back around. So I used to have a 270 on the 80, but it was one of like those smaller ones from, who are they from? Overland Pros. And that 270 awning, like, okay, it was cool and stuff. Like the material was really nice, but I didn't like the way I didn't like how the setup went. And the arms for the awning were very, very like, they looked weak. They looked very weak. And then you had to have like, it wasn't a freestanding 270. And I think now, especially nowadays, or I think at least in the terms of a 270 degree awning, a freestanding awning makes sense. A freestanding 180 degree, freestanding 270 degree awning only makes sense. So for the awning that I used to have, for me having to open it up and then attach, like manually attach legs to it, like so the awning opens up and I had to push the support legs into it solely so the thing could actually function and open up. It wasn't cutting it for me anymore. And I was able to get it for a steal back then, you know, like I bought it used for like $200. And I was like, oh, sick. I got a 270 degree awning for 270 or $200. Like, oh, I thought it was a champ, you know? Now looking back, I was like, man, dang, man, I spent $200 on like an awning that I don't like, on a product I don't like at all. But Overland Pros is their other awning. The other awning they have, the freestanding one, looks pretty legit. I think it's like the Raptor 6K or something like that. Michael from Overland Bound, he endorses, well, I wouldn't say endorses, but he signs off on that awning. The Raptor 6K or something like that. That one's freestanding, and he signs off on that one. He said it was pretty good, so I mean, I'll take his word for it. You know what I mean? But anyways, this top oak overland. Oh, those went in like real slow. I don't know if you guys heard that. This top oak overland awning that I have coming in, it's pretty sick, and it's a massive awning. Like I said, massive awning, massive 270 degree, and not only a freestanding, but it has LED lights built into the arms when you open them up, and then you just. The other thing that's cool about it is that there's a pocket on the inside. Once you open up the awning, there's a pocket on the inside for you to drop in your power bank or whatever to power the LED lighting in the arms. So that's pretty sweet. So you guys stay tuned for that. I'm gonna do. It's not so much of an install, but I'll do like a brief install because everyone knows how to mount an awning nowadays, you know. But I'm gonna be doing a. Damn it! Look, I did it again. I didn't cycle the new primers in first. Like I was too busy talking to you guys. So do that. Oh, well, might as well just pop that. Pop the old primer out. So yeah, I have that in the works. The next video that I'm also working on is a how-to video on how to replace the steering wheel on your FJ80. And I'm pretty sure like everyone nowadays knows how to remove or replace their steering wheel. But you never know. But then again, I'm only able to do it because I don't have an airbag. I never had an airbag in the FJ80. So it's easy enough for me to replace and install a new aftermarket steering wheel. So, okay, so that felt weird. That felt weird that the primer was going in, but it did seat. Let me push it in a little bit more. What was I saying? So yeah, I have that video in the works, working on just putting together like the voiceover for that video. What else? I'm working on a new video. Oops. See, forgot to do that again. You've done what many times? Install an awning? Or replace the steering wheel? See, how am I out of cases already? What the hell? Replace the steering wheel. Yeah, see? I'm sure you know how to do it. This video is not for you, Robert. You're too much of a pro. But no, I replaced my steering wheel in the 80 with a Nardi. I don't even know the model, but this like old school one that's pretty dope. And it just gives that old school feel. Like I love that old. I don't know. I just love the look of those Nardi steering wheels, and it's on a Momo hub. Like it's super old school. What was it? Oh, okay, so yeah, I was also saying that I'm working on another video dedicated to the GX platform, talking about different builds. We're going to be talking about different builds. Yeah, doing the pitman arm and the diff seal. Yes, Robert, you knocked it out of the park on that, man. Thank you so much for helping me do those. I definitely, like, looking back at it now, after watching you take care of it and whatnot, like, I'm fairly confident I can do it myself now. It's just I had never done it before, and I'm the type to, when I've never done something before, I get very hesitant. Especially when it comes to, like, to a platform that even myself I'm not too familiar with. You know, I'm not really all too familiar with the 80 series just yet. Just because I feel like there's so much more that I'm learning. But, you know, when it came to working on my Celica or like the different old school Toyotas that that my brother and I were cranking on back in the day, with the help of our dad, obviously. But I was more willing to oh, let's just try it. Let me just do it. Like, I did a whole rear end swap on my 82 Corolla wagon back in the day because I wanted an LSD, and the only LSD I was able to get a hold of was an LSD out of a 77 Toyota Corona wagon. I guess certain models came with LSDs. I forget exactly what model. So I wanted the LSD out of that 77 Corona in my 82 Corolla wagon. And yeah, I did a full like rear end swap, and I had never I don't think it had ever been done before, because I had dropped in that whole rear end, so like the whole live axle. I had to use the front shaft of a 85 Toyota Cressida, mated to the rear shaft, because the drive shafts were two pieces. The front shaft out of a 85 Toyota Cressida, mated to the rear shaft out of a 86 Corolla SR5 to the rear end of this 77 Corolla. So anyways, long story short, what I'm saying is that, like, yeah, I was way braver, is that the word, braver, working on that old Corolla than I am working on this Land Cruiser. I don't know what it is. So I'd never done a steering box on a Land Cruiser, so that's why I had to ask Robert for his help, because I'm like, Robert, I've never done a Land Cruiser steering box before. I need your help. I need your expertise. And so, yeah, he knocks it out. Like, how long did it take you, Robert? How long did it take us? Like, I'm sure it would have been a lot faster if it weren't for, like, I was dicking around with, like, the camera and stuff like that. But man, you finished it, like, a couple of hours. That's including the replacing the pinion seal on the rear diff. I think we're out of primers. Yep. Okay, so I got to restock on primers. Let me just run these ones out. So I'm going to case gauge these, make sure they're ready to go. Was it 3 to 4 hours? Okay, I thought it was faster, because you were just knocking it away, dude. So I'm just checking again, making sure these rounds go into the case gauge, meaning that they fit. It'll come out. Perfect. Oh, look, this one kind of got stuck. Oh, okay. Maybe it was a fluke. All right. Yeah, so anyways, like, if anyone in here is new to the channel, again, thanks for coming in. I'm just doing some reloading while a couple of us talk about future plans and like future projects that we have lined up for our Toyota Land Cruisers 80 series, joined by Wonder Off-Road. Robert, thanks for coming by, man. He came by my first live to make sure that my audio is good. Because everyone knows, like, you don't want to tune into a channel to have crappy audio, right? So thanks again, Robert, for double checking on me. So yeah, so we were talking about future plans, the future builds I have, future projects I have going on for the Land Cruiser. The next thing is doing the next project I have lined up for that 80 series is getting the power steering hoses rebuilt, because you saw that I had the used power steering hoses ready to go when we were swapping out the steering box. But like you said, they didn't look like they were used, and apparently they were ready to go, but they didn't look like in the best condition. So it's kind of like, if we're already there and like taking it apart, why not just replace it like one time, one and done, instead of replacing it with one that's the one that's like kind of working, that's like it'll work right now, as opposed to getting the whole line rebuilt properly and then replace it, so that way you don't got to touch it again, right? And so Robert and I had learned that to remove the 80 series FJ80 91 to 92 power steering hose, we learned that you had to lift up on the radiator. And when we were down there looking at the radiator, that's when Robert had noticed that there was a crack, a small crack on the radiator of the 80 series now. So that's when we figured, like, okay, why are we going to pull this radiator and keep it in here when it's already banged up and like about to, oh, look, we finished 100 primers. Why are we going to keep this radiator if it's already got a crack? Why are we going to mess with it? We already pretty much got to pull it out. Let's just pull it out when we get a new radiator. So I picked up a new OEM style radiator from CSF. And when I say OEM style, it's just like the old school, like what, copper, all metal though, radiator. It doesn't look fancy like those aluminum ones. It's not all like shiny and stuff. It just looks like a factory radiator for the 80 Series Line Cruiser. And I was able to get that for a steal because even though it was through CSF, it was being sold by another distributor online who they had it on clearance pretty much. So like off of the CSF website, I think they were going for like $500 for this OEM style radiator. And I was able to get it from that, now I forget who the distributor was online, but I was able to get it for like $329. $360 something after tax and just shipping. So yeah, so we're going to be doing the new radiator with the rebuilt power steering hoses, and that hopefully by that, after that, I don't have to mess with steering anymore. We already did the power steering box. The steering box, Robert already like retorqued and lubed up the steering arms, the pitman arm, the drag link and all that. So that's ready to go. Hopefully at that point, like I don't have to touch steering anymore. And then from there, the main goal is to focus on all the, to have all the, this, something's feeling weird here. That drop right there, something's hitting. After that, after changing out the power steering hoses, the next plan is to change all the bushings on the 80 series, because I do notice like a little bit of like a clunk happening around, probably from the sway bar. A Denso radiator from Rock Auto for $200 from Rock Auto. Whenever I see like Denso or Asin on like Rock Auto, I get all excited because I'm like, oh yeah, they're carrying like our Japanese made brands, you know. Yeah, look, ooh, that is not feeling well. It's getting hung up right there. Yep. So when it gets hung up like that, there's an adjustment. What do you call it? There's like this adjustments hex head that you loosen up a little bit. There you go. Like, cause if you do it too tight, it like locks up that shell plate, and if it's too oh, damn it. I'm losing count of the primers again. I had it all set up, ready to go. So yeah, I had to adjust the tension on that, fix that bolt or that hex nut here. Okay, I have like 20 primers, 19 technically, 19 primers ready to go. And, I used all the cases. Damn it. Okay, so that's going to be the last of our reloading then, until I can, I mean, I have a whole bunch of extra cases here to finish loading up these rounds. I gotta clean them, and then it's a process cleaning cleaning up the rounds. I just rather not do it right now. Ooh, got one more. Two more. Ah, you bastard. That's the small primer. Do I have any cases around? Nope. So, see, I'm not paying attention. I almost cranked the handle on this casing that was loaded with powder, that had primer, was loaded with powder, but I almost cranked it to the position to finish it without adding a projectile. So meaning it would have came out of the machine with no bullet attached, and all the powder would have spilled out. And you don't want that, because now you just lost powder. You're just wasting powder. So yeah, it's somewhat of a good idea to pay attention to what you're doing when you're cranking these rounds, but I'm trying to hang out with you guys. I'm trying to talk to you guys. So anyways, yeah, that's it for the Land Cruiser. Those are for the foreseeable future. That's all I have lined up for it. For the GX now that we got the timing chain and all that taken care of, timing chain cover on the GX taken care of, all the random leaks that have happened. Like I said, the timing chain cover was leaking. The O-rings around the oil filter cartridge housing, whatever it's called, those O-rings were leaking, which is the real common area for the UR motors, the V8, the V8s that Toyota has. They tend to leak around those O-rings for the oil filter housing. Oh, look. You just said. Oh, what? It went through. It's so weird. Okay, so this is good. Anyways, so that was fixed. Oil pan was fixed. The transmission pan gasket was fixed on the GX. The next thing that I want to do on the GX is have the snorkel installed, because again, we're not overlanders until we have the snorkel. So we're going to do that once I find someone who can help me install that snorkel. And then I want to have the exhaust installed. I got a new exhaust for the Land Cruiser, which is the Carvin. The Carvin exhaust. It's not really an exhaust in the sense of like the full like catback. It's more of just like you can't even say like an axle back exhaust. It's literally like a mid pipe replacing. You're replacing the mid pipe and then adding a muffler onto there. So that's in the works. I still need to have that done. Probably just gonna go to a muffler shop for that, and then get these new wheels installed. Get these wheels installed on the GX. The 1552 Range model is called Range from 1552 in a 17x8 0 offset. Get those installed on the GX, and they're sitting right over there. I don't know if you see the box. They're sitting right over there, and I've been dragging ass getting those installed because I want to step up on the tire size for the GX, and that requires money. So money's been kind of tight lately. I say tight, but it's because we've been allocating extra money to other expenditures and stuff like that. Go 35-inch. Robert, go 35-inch on the GX? No. I don't think I mean, honestly, I want to. Don't get me wrong. I want to drop 35s on the GX, but this was my logic. The GX is my wife's daily driver. Go big or go home. Dude, like, I really want to. But since I'm not the one daily driving it, I know that the and this is for GXs, right? For GXs and or 4Runners. I think by doing 35s, you're adding more stress. You're adding a lot more stress on those CV axles, especially for a daily driver. So I don't want like to throw 35s on there and then my wife is daily driving it and then like a CV axle blows or something. You have 35s on the 4Runner? I didn't know you did. I didn't know you did. Well, if Robert did it, yeah. So I mean, okay. See, 33. Yeah, I think I want to step up to just a 33 on the GX, or if I do want to like go bigger, throw some like, excuse me, throw some like 295s on there and do like a 34. You know what I mean? A 34 inch. And I've seen a GX owner on YouTube. He does it, and he cuts away so much on the inner liner, the inner fender. He cuts away like a piece of his what do you call them? The damn steps, the steps, the freaking steps. He cuts away like a piece of that because he's gonna throw on some sliders anyways. So it was a process doing 34s. So I feel like if you're gonna go 34s, then you might as well do 35s. But the same can be said if you're going 35s, you might as well go 37s. I know someone's always going to say that. But anyways, the plan is to step up the tire size on the GX. And I literally been sitting on these 1552 wheels over here for like 2 years now. And I owe 1552 a photo shoot for them. And so in reality, they've been asking like, hey, why aren't you, when can we do our photo shoot? And my excuse is that I don't have the correct tires to showcase their beautiful wheels just yet. So when that happens, when I finally get the bigger tires, I'm going to throw these 1552 range wheels on, showcase the GX in all its glory, so that way we can get those photos done for 1552, which again have been delayed for 2 years at this point. And I think we'll be set with the GX. I think that'll be it. My wife's truck will finally be done until I figure out what else we can do to it without doing anything too heavily crazy. But yeah. So yeah, that's it, guys. I guess I'm going to end it here. I just wanted to give this whole live thing a trial run. I wanted to see how it was going to go. I don't think every live video that I do, again, I don't know how many live videos I am going to do, but I appreciate those of you who did tune in. So it was pretty cool. We're not going to be doing like the whole reloading thing every night, or every live video, because I don't really want to highlight that I'm reloading every night. This channel is to talk about like Toyota 4x4s and off-roading products. So I'm going to try to focus on that on the next time we do live. But thanks again for tuning in, guys. Good night, Robert. Thanks for helping me out, dude. For the other people that are here, thank you. See you guys soon.